PPPs are complex agreements for projects that can continue for decades. This makes it challenging to account for every possible eventuality in the contract and costs. This complexity and uncertainty can produce situations where there are differences in interpretation and opinion on the contractual obligations of the parties. Therefore, PPP agreements must include a dispute resolution process to resolve conflicts and avoid unnecessary delays and costs. The best practice is to have a well-thought-out, phased dispute resolution process that prioritizes collaborative methods. The objective is to encourage disputes getting resolved at the lowest level possible, for the least cost and the earliest possible time. Maintaining good working relationships is also of paramount importance. This diagram is a representation of the continuum of dispute resolution methods. The best results start with negotiations and evolve from there. Consider a sports complex PPP that fails to earn the demand revenue needed for upkeep and maintenance. By not maintaining the property due to design flaws or inadequate forecasting, the operator is unable to attract enough events to cover the O&M costs. How would the parties proceed in a dispute? In a phased process, dispute resolution methods are often employed in 3 levels. Direct negotiations. Project agreements should include a multi-stepped negotiation process, which starts immediately once a disagreement is recognized. These steps involve various management levels that allow for escalation of negotiations. Each step has a time limit to resolve the issue. If not resolved accordingly, negotiations move up to the next level. Imposing time limits and escalation provides 2 pressure points, including the pressure of having to ask bosses to intervene. Seeking help from a neutral party. If negotiations are unsuccessful, the next phase is to bring in a neutral party via mediation or another method. A mediator assists the parties in finding their own mutually acceptable resolution through a facilitated process. In the case of the sports complex, that could be finding ways to ensure appropriate revenue for O&M while meeting the government's needs of using the facility for public events. Other forms include the use of a non-binding advisory option for purely technical issues that can produce a neutral benchmark around which the parties can resolve their dispute, and adjudication, where a neutral party renders a decision which will become binding if not promptly appealed. Binding court or arbitration decisions. Every contract needs a final binding process. Contract disputes are generally subject to the jurisdiction of the applicable country's court system. However, parties often consider courts inefficient, unpredictable, and costly for resolving disputes. Courts may be slow and lack the technical expertise to properly interpret contractual obligations of PPP agreements, particularly in emerging markets. Therefore, final dispute resolution mechanisms for PPPs often provide for a contractual commitment to binding arbitration instead. International arbitration can be administered under a permanent established institution, such as the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, or other arbitration providers. This can allow the use of experienced arbiters in PPP and project issues, and can be administered under rules that promote efficiency and ensure enforceability. Learn more at our PPP website, www.cldp.doc.gov/PPP.